What's up, guys? Welcome back to Photo Conversations, where we have conversations about photography, film, and so much more about life. Well, recently I got an opportunity to volunteer as a photography coach at one of the media academies in town. And for me, I think it's an exciting opportunity to grow as a leader, as a photographer, but also as a mentor, because I believe that each and every photographer at some point you get to that level where you just need to share the knowledge with other people. And it's also exciting seeing young and passionate people embark on a journey of self-discovery through learning photography and film, and especially through my own guidance as a mentor and as a leader. I believe it also feeds me as a photographer that is looking to become more influential and also looking to become a leader in the industry, but also looking to have more impact beyond my actual photography that I do on assignments, and also basically seeing people grow from one point to another is exciting, and it's nice just seeing people grow into something that you have mentored over time. While I was preparing for my coaching sessions, like any other teacher or trainer, I decided to go over material that had been put out about photography and film, both online and through the other different platforms, through different online coaching programs that had produced different training programs, just to be able to have a theoretical basis, of knowledge that I'm going to use to teach my class, and also to have the confidence, that I have this standard training program for my class, because most of my photography and film I picked up through experience. I was self-taught, so it's very important for any photographer that is aspiring to teach other people to be able to go over material from the professional trainers, to be able to deliver effectively when training or mentoring students and these young people that want to become photographers and filmmakers. However, while doing this, I discovered something very interesting about the material that has been put out to teach people photography and film. This material usually focuses on photography concepts and the practical elements of photography. So basically, it focuses on training photographers on the theoretical concepts of photography and also the practical aspects of photography. And I think there's no problem with learning the theoretical bit of photography and the practical bit of photography, because at the end of the day, you want to produce a photographer that is able to translate the theory and the concepts into the actual execution through the practical elements, where you have a concept and you translate it into a photograph by being able to take a photograph using a camera or using the equipment that you have. Very logical. We need to be practical. We need to have the knowledge or the theory. However, there's something I found missing in most of the teaching and training programs of photography and filming, and this is the mindset of a photographer or a filmmaker. Most of these programs, like I said earlier, focus on the theory, concepts, and also the practical, but they omit the element of building a mindset of a photographer. Much as the skill set might be important, I believe that the mindset is even more important, because it is the soul of a photographer. I would use an analogy of a body and a soul. I believe that the mindset of a photographer is the soul of the photographer, and the body of the photographer is the skills and the practical abilities of a photographer. They all work hand in hand to be able to have this competent photographer. However, most of the photographers that are being churned out by the different training programs are skilled photographers. They know how to use the camera. They know the concepts of photography. They can speak the lingua of a photographer. They will tell you about the exposure triangle. They'll tell you about the diffusers. They'll tell you about the different poses. They'll tell you about the composition and all the things. And it sounds fancy, but there's an element of the mindset of a photographer which is really missing in the photographers that the system or the training programs are producing. So today I would like to share with you why I think it's important to focus on the mindset of a photographer to accompany the skill set of a photographer. I'm not trying to downplay the importance of having the skill set and the theory and the concepts and all these things, but I'm trying to show the overall importance of having a mindset of a photographer, because I believe if you have the mindset, then you definitely build on the skill set. But if you have the skill set and have no willingness to learn the mindset, you will be a photographer, but there will always be something that is missing around you, and this can be, this can be smelt on you, by clients and by other people that are more experienced. Teaching the mindset of a photographer is all-encompassing. It gives a photographer a more rounded outlook of everything that pertains to photography. In contrast to the skill set that only focuses on the practical side of things and the conceptual side of things. When you are trained on the mindset of a photographer, you get to learn things like communication, you get to learn things like the business acumen of a photographer, and you also get to learn the etiquette of a photographer. And these elements are very, very important when it comes to commercializing your photography skills, because at the end of the day, much as a client wants you to produce a beautiful photograph, but at the end of the day, there's a whole experience that comes with having a mindset of a photographer. Things like resilience, persistence, patience, and discipline. These are things that might seem simple, but these are some of the key elements that will differentiate a professional photographer from an amateur photographer. And actually, using the word amateur doesn't make a lot of sense, because a photographer that has the skills, the highest level of skills, is not an amateur. He's not going to be looked at as an amateur because he's going to be able to produce the standard expectation from a client or from the industry. But being able to stay longer in the industry, being able to stay afloat in the industry, you're going to need a mindset, not just the skill set. So it's important to dive deeper into the mindset of a photographer. How does a photographer behave? How does a photographer communicate? How does a photographer deal with disputes, conflicts, and all these things? These are things that most training programs will not have. And in my mentorship program, I'm going to focus on these things, because I believe with the right mindset of a photographer, you're definitely going to have the persistence and the resilience to be able to pick up any skill that will be thrown at you. Point number 2 is that teaching mindset gives birth to leaders, while teaching the skill set produces mere operators. And what do I mean by this? When you're taught a mindset, you're being groomed into a leader in whatever craft you're in. And if you're just learning the skill set, you're becoming an operator. And I will tell you this, leaders operate at a strategic level, while operators operate at an operational level. And this doesn't take away from the importance of having operators within the industry. We need focus pullers, we need camera operators, we need gimbal runners, we need all these operators on ground to be able to have a product. However, if you are looking to be a leader, but you're going to need to learn how to manage people. You're going to learn how to lead a team. You're going to learn how to be patient. You're going to need to learn how to recruit people on your team. You're going to need to learn financial literacy. All these things that build the mindset of a photographer, you're going to need to learn them to be able to lead. I'll give you an example of athletics. Football, soccer, or basketball, or these other sports. You'll find that at some point in time, knowingly or unknowingly, athletes are being groomed to be leaders at the end of the day, at the end of the career. And that's why you find that most of the athletes that retire at the end of the day become coaches. And this comes from a mindset training, not a skills training. The skills are important because if you're coaching somebody, you're going to need to know the skills by heart. But to be able to move from one level to another and to be able to look at things from a strategic point of view, you're going to need a mindset. So in short, mindset training produces leaders, and skill set training is just going to produce operators. And it's up to you to choose whether you just want to be a leader or you want to be an operator. And for me, I would say the ultimate level of any craft is the leadership level, where you guiding people, you're mentoring people, you're solving problems, you're more versatile on set, you're more knowledgeable about the craft from a mindset point of view, and rather than the practical operational point of view. So lastly, I believe that mindset training gives birth to versatile professionals, while skill set training produces specialists. And this is quite interesting. When you learn a skill set and become good at the skill set, you become a specialist. For example, if you've focused on lighting, you're going to become a specialist at lighting. You'll become a good gaffer. If you learn sound, you're going to become a good sound person. But then when situations require you to be versatile, you'll not be able to execute because all you learned was a skill. And on the other hand, somebody that just has a mindset of a photographer or a mindset of a leader kind of is more versatile when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to working on an overall project. So I would say skills are important, but they tend to become relevant when situations or when an environment changes. And that's when a mindset comes in to be able to save the day. I'll give you an example. If you're on set and your mindset is, and your skill set is, fixed on maybe camera, or you're fixed on lighting, and maybe something out of what you know happens, how then do you come in to be able to solve this challenge? I would say mindset produces problem solvers, while skill set produces specialists that can only operate in a limited environment. So overall, I would say that in a continuously morphing, evolving photography and film industry, there is need for training programs to focus on not only building the skill sets of photographers, but also imparting a mindset of a photographer, imparting a mindset of a leader, because at the end of the day, we are all looking at becoming leaders. You might imagine that maybe if you're a gaffer, or if you're a sound guy, or if you're a camera operator, that's all you need to survive in the photography or film industry. At the end of the day, when a production comes to an end and the end product is horrible, they're not going to say the gaffer, or they're not going to say the production manager. They're just going to say the whole team was bad. So it's important for photographers and filmmakers to have the photographer's mindset imparted in them, while they are also fortifying their skill set in photography and film. And I would say again, by the mindset, I mean things like resilience, things like persistence, discipline, things like critical thinking, things like understanding the business side of photography and film, things like having the etiquette of a photographer, having the right communication skills of a photographer. So going forward in my own mentorship classes, I'm going to focus so much on imparting this photographer's mindset, and the skill set, I believe, will come in automatically when the people have the mindset. And lastly, I believe that the mindset of a photographer kind of just flows through into the other facets of your life as a photographer. If you have a mindset of a photographer, you're definitely going to take this mindset back home. in your family, you're definitely going to take this mindset into the other fields of work, and at the end of the day, you're going to become a wholesome human being that is able to work with a changing environment and also be able to solve problems as they arise. So thank you so much for watching this YouTube video, and feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Photo Conversations Uganda, and also hit the bell button to be notified about any new content that we'll be producing. Be blessed and catch you on the next one.